thought that I would go live, help some people survive. I was sitting here thinking, about life and being on other people's lives, in the comment section, just listening and really getting a true understanding of where people are emotionally. And what I can say to be true is so many people are lonely, are in some cases desperate, to have a mate. And I want you to be encouraged to know that that's not the only thing that life is about. Um, you can get caught up in wasting time, you know, with having a mate, and so many people looking for answers, how to get a man, or sprinkle, sprinkle, or drizzle, drizzle. And it's just a never ending cycle of unhealthiness. And you don't want to waste your life away worrying about somebody taking care of you, or trying to live that best life, where at my age, what I've come to understand is your best life starts from within. You have to be healthy emotionally and physically before you can really enjoy somebody. And many times people just don't want to take the time to heal and overcome bad situations in their life. They too busy looking for somebody to fix them. And unfortunately, far too many times is how you get into these unhealthy relationships. I see so many people on these social media platforms that are thirsty, thirsty for attention, thirsty for likes and comments, and large platforms, doing whatever to get a dollar. And they don't realize that their life is deteriorating, by putting themselves in unhealthy situations just to get that dopamine hit of attention. Everybody on all these platforms is talking about, P. Diddy and the Cassie video. And it's unfortunate that such a young, healthy, wholesome young lady, when he met her, I'm assuming, because she's quite a bit younger than him, was exposed to and manipulated to the point to where she was having freak offs and just doing things that she would have never thought that she would have done. But she got consumed by living that life and buying into the falsehoods of being bigger than life, wanting to be bigger than life, that she sold her soul. And she paid an ultimate price. I don't care how much money she was awarded. She is scarred for life. And many of us are scarred because life happens to all of us collectively, yet differently. And it is up to you how you progress forward. You can choose to become and stay a victim, or you can heal and push forward and grow from it. And far too many times we just don't do that. You know, I see a lot of videos and content creators out here, and they just out here lying, pretending to have these fabulous lives and that they're so brilliant and so gorgeous. But when you take up off the fake hair, the eyelashes, and all the other things, who are you really? We have lost our way, unfortunately. And if we don't focus on things that are truly important, you will look up and so much time will have passed you by that it will shock you. And the lesson that we all must adhere to when it comes to life is time ain't waiting on nobody. And time you cannot get back. I look at my life, I look at a lot of these young people that don't have a relationship with their parents, and it's sad. And it's a lot of that. It's a lot of unhealthy relationships. I struggle with that with my children, although I try to have a productive relationship with my children. There are consequences for the life that I led when I was bringing them up. Working too much, not spending enough quality time. And now, at my mid age of 50, I'm living this life and my children's lives on the sideline. See, people got to get honest about the truth. People got to get honest so that they can live a healthier life. I made a decision that I would no longer lie, that I would no longer lie to myself, because I deserve to get well. I deserve to get well and quit being a victim of what I was taught and what society teach. That's why I started to speak out about the strong black woman mentality. I used to be that woman in corporate America, and in my relationships too, where I was going to be all these things for everybody, or I was the fix-it woman. And in the process of trying to fix other people, I began to break down. Poetic spiritual counseling. How you doing, my friend? Long time no see. Was sitting here and I said, let me go live and just talk. I want to do that more because number one, I live alone and I know there's far too many people like me, and um, they don't know what to do with themselves a lot of times, and people are lonely. And this is true. I go through points in my life where I'm lonely, and I said, somebody got to be honest. So why not me? And when I get lonely, I said, I'm going to turn this on and just speak. I'm doing a lot better. I'm actually in occupational therapy. Excuse me a second, my throat is dry. I've been trying to get mentally and physically stronger. Um, having COVID back in 2020, really did something to me. I'm in actually a post-COVID long haulers therapy group. I know there's a lot of people out there that they ain't talking about it, but a lot of people that caught COVID early on, like myself, still have conditions they suffering from. And it has been life-changing. And to really try to strengthen myself back as much as I can to normalcy as possible, has been my struggle and my focus. How you been, my friend? But I'm still here on YouTube. I'm going to still push forward, and I'm going to still speak authentically about life. It's far too many platforms that's talking about things that just don't matter. We need to let people know that they are not alone. We need people to know to just hold on. People that are lonely, they need to know that they're not alone. It's other people out here that they can bond with, and to be of encouragement to somebody. I know I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and I said, my children are grown just like theirs. I said, we can get stuck in trying to fit in our children's lives when really, a lot of times, they don't have a big enough space that they want to offer us. And a lot of empty nesters become disheartened and heartbroken because they don't have those relationships. And you have to start building these relationships outside of your children, because your children have a life of their own. And truth might hurt, but some people's kids don't even like them at all, don't even want you in their life. And if you are one of those people, you still can survive and live a happy, healthy life. You just have to start looking at life differently. It's a lot of people that have suffered, have made a lot of bad decisions, and they have passed them on to their children. And they want to rectify or heal from that situation, but everybody heals differently. And if you're in that situation, you have to understand that, if your children aren't ready, then you have to give them the space and let them be and love them from a distance, you know. Um, Amen. I'm here. I'm working on my healing as well. And that's the reality. What I've come to realize, healing I believe is a lifelong long journey. Um, when I look at my life, I understand more so now than I ever did culturally. Um, there was a lot of baggage that was passed on to me. And I normalized that along with those in, my community and culture, because that's what we knew. And to start to unpack a lot of the unhealthy mentalities and behaviors that we were taught. That is a lifelong journey. I am still unpacking that strong black woman mentality. That natural aggression that not only us but other races has put upon us. That what's that other term? Angry black woman mentality. All those things you have to continuously reset and heal from, because we were taught wrong and then we were conditioned to be those things. And it wasn't fair. And once you know better, you do better. And so every day, I'm not great, but I am still moving forward and being honest, and looking forward to the rest of what life has for me. I am determined, if nothing else, that life for me will be different than what it was. But because I let go of looking for other people to complete me. And it's too many people that are still, even my age and older, I see older women that are still hung up in trying to find a man. And let's be honest, it ain't plentiful out there. It ain't plentiful. Listen, honesty will always be the key. That is when my healing started for me. I looked in the mirror and I quit lying to me. I got tired of the mess. You know, we just have to start being honest with ourselves, because that is the true path to healing. That is the true path to living well. And it's so much toxicness out here. It's just a sad state of events. And you really do have to be a true gatekeeper of who you allow in your presence, and you allow access to your life. I see a lot of bright young people out there, in the world that's coming up, that don't have the relationships with their parent or their mother specifically. Young ladies anyway, that they need. And then when you have these young men that have absent fathers, I'm seeing a lot of males within the black community specifically that are very bitter at women. And it's just a sad state of events. And I don't see anybody really talking about it. We are really being conditioned to do whatever gets you likes and grow your platforms. And it's just not conducive and productive. I was on a platform the other day and I listened to this young girl. Hey, Free, happy Friday, my friend. I just thought I'd come in and talk a little mess before I get on out of here. Um, just thinking about, I was on somebody else's platform and listening to them. And everybody in the comments, was talking about having a mate. Everybody wants to be loved, that just won't go away. Um, I have two, Poetic. I have two children. I have a son that will be 30 years old in June, and my daughter, she is 19. She'll be 20 years old in September. My kids are 10 years apart. So I got a kid that I'm 20 years older than, and I got a kid that I'm 30 years older than. I'm 50. So every zero, you know, it levels out. So my daughter will be 20, my son will be 30, and I'm 50. And so that's three different generations of people. And the ironic thing, and the thing that really I guess keeps me going is because I try to learn about the other generations, because my daughter's a Gen Z and my son is a millennial, and they are very, very different. And Free, my son is 21. Happy birthday to your son, Free. And your birthday in September, Free? My daughter's birthday is September 18th. And yep. Thank you, Poetic. Which my like I talked to my son today, and me and my daughter, we have a touch and go relationship. And but what I've come to realize is I'm not alone. There are so many people that have the same relationship that I have with my children. Okay, the 20th, 2 days after. See, I'll remember that now, Free, that have the same relationship that I have. Um, because I hear it in the comments, I see it on the videos, and I know other people, that I know in my personal life or have crossed their paths, and our relationships are similar. See, I came from a time where I worked a lot, so a lot of my children's lives, I was at work, and then I was also focused on these toxic relationships. And I thought, oh, since I'm taking good care of my children, you know, uh, physically, they didn't want or need anything. I thought I was doing a good job. My children were robbed of time in my life. And I'm paying for that today. But what I won't do is let nobody use me either. My son is a great guy. He humble. He's self-sufficient. I took time to teach him to be self-sufficient. That's one thing I did for my kids, and I'm implementing that with my daughter now, and is to be self-sufficient. I ain't never believed in that sprinkle sprinkle mentality, and I never will. That situation with Casey going on is a prime example why nobody can ever take care of you better than you. Free said, yeah, touch and go. Hey, me and my mother too, and me and my daughter too. It's a generational thing. These are generational unhealthy behaviors that was passed down, Free, and it's just honesty. And the thing that I can say is different for me with my daughter than it was for me and my mother. I made a conscious effort to want to have a healthier relationship with my daughter. But my daughter being a Gen Z, um, their mentality is a little different. And some stuff I'm just not going to compromise, because Gen Z children can be very arrogant. It's very common. We all make mistakes as parents. Amen. And it's true. It's nothing wrong with telling the truth. I'm comfortable with telling the truth. I know a lot of people out here lying, and lying just ain't serving nobody well. When my day is done, if I ain't done nothing else, y'all, what I am or will have done is tell the truth that I know it to be. Um, yep, lap time is very important, and I'm not going to, number one, waste time that I don't have on something that I've tried to rectify. That's number one, Free. And as long as I am being the best person that I can be, and I have committed myself to be a better person, and to acknowledge where I went wrong, then you either come with me or you don't. A lot of people will hold you hostage. See, I held my mother hostage for many years, out of resentment, for the way that she raised us, but it came a time where I had to let those things go because I needed to grow. I needed to grow for me. I needed to let go so that I could free my mind and my body of all those toxic diseases. Because what people don't realize, this is the truth, y'all. When you hold anger and bitterness and all those things inside, it does turn into something. A lot of people out here have a lot of ailments and are unhealthy physically, not to mention mentally, because they didn't they didn't let go and release all the stresses and things properly. Free said, me too. It takes objectivity and effort to be a conscious parents to adult. It really does to adult children. Amen. And I'm very conscious now because that's all I can be. I have no control over nobody but me. See, I was raised with a very strong arm. I had a very authoritative mother, and I was raised in fear. So I thought I would raise my children that way. But then midway through, I changed my mind and I said, this ain't the right way. And in the end, um, it serves nobody well. It's not healthy. It uh it it creates division between you and your child. And once you put boundaries and set expectations, I don't care who it is, you don't let nobody cross them. There's expectations, there's consequences, and you make sure that people adhere to them. And that's where I'm at with my daughter. Um, there's expectations. We can be different people, but if you don't adhere to what I believe that I need in my life, then there's only a certain part of my life that you're gonna have access to. Got to have boundaries. No, we see these kids out here today free and when no boundaries, and those are the ones that's out here acting a total plum fool. And it's just a shame. And if you don't have no respect for your parents, ain't nobody gonna be able to do nothing with you. And I am old enough to know I ain't gonna even try to, because it becomes dangerous. People are very dangerous today. People are walking around here without a conscience. Jacob said, I lost my two best friends in high school that passed away. Sorry to hear that, Jacob. Therapy and counseling can help with that. It's definitely helpful. But, it's just, about being honest in life, to be the person that is, willing to listen, willing to make adjustments where it makes sense. You got so many people that are so consumed with themselves that they don't give a damn about nobody else. If y'all watch that P. Diddy video, that's a shame. And that situation is common. You have nice looking girls or young ladies. They get with these guys that they would have never looked their way if the guy didn't have money. And they think that they gonna have exactly a narcissist, this beautiful life. And then about time they realize that these relationships are so toxic, they so far in, they don't even know how to get out. And it's a shame. That's why nobody will ever be able to take care of you better than you. I don't care who it is. And there's so many people out here that's looking to gain off of somebody else's back. And if people paying attention, this country is in a wreck. You don't have time to focus on that kind of nonsense. You got to be strategic just to maintain and to make sure you got some resources and things in place just in case. People ain't paying attention at what's going on at the Capitol and within these governments. That's what people really need to be talking about. But every time I go to these platforms, all I hear about is figuring out trying to how to get a man, or men bitter at women, and it just ain't it ain't it ain't serving us well. And I tell you this too, a lot of other races, when I won't say a lot of other, I've seen it in the Caucasian race, a lot of them are capitalizing off our toxic relationships. you know you see a lot of these other platforms, and they talk about what's going on in the black community. You don't never see them talking about what's going all the toxic stuff going on in the other communities, and we just rolling with it and adding to it. It's not serving it at all. And the bad part about it, Poetic, is nobody's going to most of these people ain't gonna realize it until it's too far gone. You know, I don't understand it, but I mean, you seeing? I'm just waiting to see, what else come out with these celebrities, since we so focused on what's going on with them. It's a shame. I want people to focus on where they at in life. I think about every day, things I got to do to get back to my healthiest state. What can I do, you know, to um to move my agenda forward? Because P. Diddy and them ain't doing nothing for me. But if people that's what people want to hear, if I can grow that way, then I'm gonna add it in there. Free said, I heard on the radio that the government wants to charge people per mileage on the road when the transition to electric vehicles starts because of the loss of revenue from oil. I haven't heard that yet. I'm about to look that up. And you know what? And that's I can believe that. And let me tell you this too. I was talking to a friend a while back, and then we talked about it again more recently. The price of cars, like what, 10 years ago or so, I didn't come across a regular average vehicle. So I think it's a regular average, luxury vehicle with 60, 70,000, like vehicles in 100,000, like it's nothing now. And it's sad with the, people talking about this other stuff. Like, I live on the East Coast. It is hard with the housing. The price of housing is hard. And it's making it to where even people that got a decent job, you can make six figures, and it's still hard for you to get a decent house, depending on where you live. And that's a shame. Those things is what I'm concerned about. I'm concerned, all these rules that they changing, all these prices that they hiking, and why in the heck ain't Donald Trump locked up yet? Not that Biden any better, but he's a different challenge. Oh, I know it is free. I'm in New Jersey, and I'm telling you, it's terrible. And the thing about the East Coast, when I moved to the East Coast in 2017. When I first got here, everything from where I come from, it was very old. Ain't that the truth, Poetic? Now they building a lot of stuff up, like new homes and townhomes and apartments. They build more apartments than they are homes because they want people to stay renting. They don't want people to buy nothing. But the price, even the cost of rent is ridiculous. And don't think, I mean, where I'm from, the Midwest, um, what you get for 300,000 is a far cry from what you get on the East Coast. It's insulting on the East Coast. It's insulting. And it's almost to the point, I know, you know, prices go up anymore. Like, you're gonna either have to downside or find a roommate. And I don't like people enough to be living with them. Something got to happen. These are the things that matter. When you got working, it's almost starting to feel like The middle class is going away. You either got a lot of money or you ain't got no money. And that ain't gonna sustain us. The middle class has to be sustained. But you got so much greed in this country that ain't nobody putting no regulations in place to make it a check and a balance. Exactly. And that's how I feel, Free. It really do. And it's concerning. You know, um, the price of food is ridiculous. Housing is ridiculous. And I tell you something else. They got it set up. This country is really going down the gutter. They got it set up to the point, like even with health care, if you your copays or your fees, they'll and say like if you in a rehab, doing some kind of therapy or something, they want those copays before your next session. Or if you want to get if you need some kind of preventative procedure or something, they want their money before you get it done, or you ain't getting it done. And that's scary too. Generations, decades ago, had way less, but were able to do. It's terrible. It's terrible. I totally agree. Poetic says, my mother always says that families are going to have to live together instead of so many separate households. We getting back to that. But here's the bad part. I know somebody that worked for the county where I'm from, where the detention center where a lot of the young boys, well, boys and girls, are sent. And they said the majority of the young boys, and these are the young guys that are in detention centers, like anywhere from 10 to 20 for in the county. If they either stay in the county or if they did something really bad, they'll be sent away. They'll either go to adult jail or to the longer holding places. But a lot of them boys are in those detention centers because their mothers chose their boyfriends over them. So, to your point, Poetic, families ain't living together because families ain't family no more. Counseling LLC, true. That will be the only way to get ahead. Yep. It's just it's we are in a very different time. And I'm actually, as I get older, I'm concerned because number one, I don't want to be one of those people that have to work forever. And I didn't work too long and too hard to live like anything. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I go to some of those lives that they be having, those groups on here, just to understand where they be talking about uh retiring, abroad outside the US. I don't know what. Listen, this life has taught me I don't know what the future holds. But what I do know is trick no good. I ain't gonna work until I'm dead. If it's the Lord's will, I know that. You know, and I also feel we start definitely the baby boomers had an opportunity to get 30 years at a job and retire. That day is done. You know, um, they implemented the 401k match because a lot of companies don't have pensions anymore. But you wasn't number one, you ain't taught about finances in school, and a lot of times in your households, because we was living just barely making it growing up, so it wasn't nothing to teach. It was about survival. So to put us in, so they always, and then I hate when people say, oh, don't talk about race. Well, we got to talk about race, is because we have a lot of disadvantages that we still are trying to get in a position so we can live as productive as other races. And we still ain't there. And they flipping laws back like in the 1940s and 50s, and ain't nobody paying attention. I don't know what to say. But I can tell you about P. Diddy. I tell you, y'all. But I must keep doing this YouTube though, because I said it. I said if ain't nothing else, I'm gonna figure out a way YouTube gonna get me out of it, get me out of there. And plus, anyway, I just like coming on. It actually coming online helps me stay connected. You know, because I know a lot of people get lonely and you can get disconnected, and then your health can start to decline when you don't have any interaction with people, because loneliness is a real thing. And when you aren't living your life in the streets, uh, going out and, and all those things, when you passed all that in your life, you have to have an outlet in a way to engage people. And I remember several years back, not that many years ago, I never thought online, oh, when they said like dating, even though I'm not into dating online, but um, and interacting with people would be like the leader. I'm like, nah, people gonna still want, to meet the old fashioned way, and here we are. More people interact, online. You have to be willing to adjust to change if you're gonna stay in this game, and be informed. So many people that's just not informed anymore. They just people don't even do no research. They hear something and they run with it as it's the gospel. We just gotta keep supporting each other and keep talking and telling the truth and trying to figure out better ways, to get ahead. That's all we can do. But the most important thing, I think, and the most healing thing for any and all of us is to be authentic and honest. And that's the truth. So that's what I'm going to keep doing. But anyway, I just thought I'd jump on for a little bit, and that's what I did. I'm glad y'all came by. I always say I'm going to do it more, and then I log on more, and then I quit. It's life. But I'm going to keep showing up one way or another. Y'all can believe that. But anyway, enjoy your night free. It's only 9 o'clock where you at. And Poetic, I'm glad you called me, my friend. It's always a pleasure talking to y'all. And we'll definitely talk again. Have a great weekend, you too, Free. I appreciate y'all. Have a good night. We'll talk soon.